Well, welcome everyone. I'm really excited to be interviewing Faith Moyo today, live. We're going live across LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube rather. So feel free to write your comments and questions and we will get to them. So welcome, Faith.
Hello, Gabrielle, and hello to everybody on the call today.
Now you're calling in. I'm just so everyone knows. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and you're in Zimbabwe. So we're quite a distance away. We got people coming in. A friend of mine, Jack, has just said Happy Friday to Rel and Faith. So Faith,
Happy Friday.
Yes, Happy Jargon-Free Friday to everyone. I was thinking today what this talk's going to be about, and I've been saying that you are an amazing woman with an inspirational story and doing actually really inspiring stuff. So for those of you that don't know, Faith and I met last year when I was researching for my book, and I came across the amazing your story on the EY website because you work for EY, and I featured you in my book. So for those of you that have read Magnetic Stories, you'll probably be aware of Faith's story. And you recently were listed in Zimbabwe's top 50 inspirational women. So, whoa, congratulations. How did that feel? Tell us.
Thank you so much. Well, what a journey. What a journey, Gabrielle, being selected amongst role models, people that I actually admire. I was so shocked and I was so excited about it because I guess it was a testament of the things that I've been trying to do, that I'm passionate about in my community in Africa and beyond. So it really was an amazing thing. I remember getting a call actually from the Institute of Corporate Directors saying that I was actually nominated under the business category. And at that time, I could not even ask who else is, obviously in that particular category. And then I got the list. In fact, someone called me and said, Faith, you're on the list. And you can imagine trying to understand what list? And it's when they actually explained to me that the top 50 most inspirational women in Zimbabwe. You can imagine how many people are in Zimbabwe and being selected to be the top 50. Really means that I'm making an impact and I'm really inspiring people out there. So really exciting times. Really exciting times.
Did you find out who nominated you, or don't you get to know?
Well, they don't share that information with you, but I did have a colleague share with me that, you know what, as soon as they saw the nomination form online and social media, they thought of me and they also nominated me. So I'm not sure if they're the only people or there were others, but I was really, really shocked, to be honest, and excited at the same time.
Excellent. Well, let's go back a bit to the lead up to that. And I'm going to get you soon to share your story about the first business that you and your father started. But just reminding everyone, if you're watching this live, please share it, because the more you share, the more people will get to hear Faith's amazing story. And please feel free to write a comment. There's lots of comments going, so proud of you, Faith. Well done, Faith. Go, Faith. But if you want to ask Faith a question, put it in there as well, and I will make sure that I ask Faith that question. So, Faith, take us back to where it all first started, where you and your dad started a business and how that came about, and that story.
Well, it was yesterday, just about 2004, and I was waiting for my results, my A-level results, so that I can get into uni. And my dad just came to me and said, I'm starting a business and I want you to join me. And this is actually where the seeds of entrepreneurship, the passion for entrepreneurship actually started. And I remember my other part for the business, I was doing the baking with my mom, doing the cupcakes, and all these kind of pastries. It was really quite exciting because the business really, kicked off. A lot of people were excited about the concept, and it really had a lot of potential. But after, just a couple of years of running this business, we had to close down. And, when we reflected on it, we realized that probably just because we lacked certain business skills and some financial management skills, which could have taken us to the next level. And it was quite sad because, closing down a business means you're leaving, the employees unemployed. They don't have jobs. And that obviously creates that negative ripple effect to their families as well. So it wasn't really easy, but it's all about what you can take from such situations and help to turn it around and make something positive out of it.
Mm. So what did you do then? You started your business with your dad. It went for a few years, and then you had to close it. So what did you do after that?
Well, there was a continuous starting of business and failing also in a way in business. But I did join, when I was doing my studies at university, I was studying towards accounting. And then I had that opportunity to then join EY. This is where I did my articles. And this is where I actually started to learn a lot about business and, how to run a business from working with our clients who are either entrepreneurially run businesses, private businesses, large listed companies. So you do find that with such organizations, you get to learn a lot around business. And I remember just looking back and saying, wow, if I had just had an organization like this back in the day, how far could we have gone? Never know. Maybe we would be opening a franchise in Australia. Who knows? But that wasn't a possibility then. But I was able to do something about it a couple of years later when I helped to launch the Business Accelerator program with my team, having the support from my leadership as well, in order to try and make an impact to a lot of entrepreneurs in my country. And this program has actually helped quite a number of entrepreneurs, helping them with their executive leadership skills, their business skills, helping to solve their challenges as well. So this is what we have been driving as in terms of me and the Business Accelerator. But from a personal point of view, I've had the opportunity to mentor a lot of next generation entrepreneurs. There's so many young people really out there who are passionate about business. And some even leave university thinking, I really want to start a business. And so I have that opportunity to be able to mentor them. And I've had the opportunity to be in different platforms where I actually mentor women entrepreneurs, business people, and just, talk a lot about what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur.
Now, so the Business Accelerate program was an EY initiative that you were working on was it for people in Zimbabwe, or was it much wider than that?
So when we start, the thinking was to start off from obviously in Zimbabwe, where we started off with one city, which was in Harare. Then we were able to, have another session, really rolling it out to another city called Buhle Moyo. And then now, because it's virtual, you're able to access a lot of entrepreneurs around the country. Our thinking really was expanding this program and taking it to other countries. And I'm sure that's our next step, taking it over and above, Zimbabwe to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Now, I hope you're noticing all the amazing comments coming through about how awesome you are and inspiring you are. Now, you actually won at EY. You was one of the global winners of the is it Build Better You? Or it was a global program. Was that based on the work you did with this Business Accelerate program?
Yes, Gabrielle, it's Better Begins With You. And I was actually nominated for the category of strengthening communities. And it is an EY initiative, and actually won the global award under that particular category for the work that I actually did in this particular program, in launching the program, and as well, being a program manager as well for this particular program. I'm just reminded,
Tell me how that felt. Tell me how that felt, winning that global award. Like, this is a global award across EY. So tell me how that felt.
Wow. I don't know what to say, because, first of all, when I started out, the intention was not to win any award. The intention was to make an impact. And there were some people who actually noticed the work that I was doing and were able to nominate me for this. And I remember being told that you're now the Africa winner. And I was like, me? Really? I did go trying to read other people's comments. Like, they were so amazing. And the next thing I was told, I'm in the top 16. And then to think that out of over 16,000 nominations that I found myself as a winner, that was nothing short of amazing experience. Even for me, not just, again, winning the award, but it just goes back to, if you're making a difference, someone will notice you. And then that creates a ripple effect as well in either the community or even yourself. You get to experience a lot of things. And I remember just my first time actually going to Germany, and this is actually where I actually got the award. So it's really been amazing. I don't even have a lot of words, but just to tell you, amazing experience.
I love the fact that you've said it has a ripple effect. So if I can sort of fill people in now, what happened. So you won that award, you won the global award. EY featured your story on their website. So that you and some of the other global winners. And that's actually where I came across you, because when I was researching for my latest book, Magnetic Stories, I was looking for examples of companies sharing stories about their employees, and doing great things in the community. So that's where I actually came across you and met you. And I was really, first of all, I was, hats off to EY for actually sharing your story on the website. But I wonder if you can provide us a couple of examples of that ripple effect. So the fact that not only winning the award, but EY sharing your story on their website, what opportunities have come your way? And I know you've been able to speak about it, and what opportunities have come your way from speaking that have then had an ongoing ripple effect? Can you give us a few examples of that?
Yes, Gabrielle. I remember when I started out, I was asked, I think my colleagues, fellow participants of the Better Begins With You award, they invited me to be a speaker at it's an American leadership program. And in that, first of all, that's already a ripple effect, because I'm able to speak in other geographies. And after sharing my story and my journey, I then got emails afterwards of people saying that they've started initiatives for their community and what that was already doing in their communities. And first of all, I was like, wow, I'm able to make an impact even outside my country. Last year, I got an email from a colleague also based in Europe who, heard about me, read my story, and was sharing with me a website of, this initiative that he was actually running in his country, where he's actually helping, underprivileged youth. And to me, I thought, wow, a lot of people are getting to know. And even coming back to Africa, I did have a lot of people that I've connected with on LinkedIn who shared with me how my story has inspired them to do great in their community. Some is to start a business. Some is actually, wanting to connect more and learn more about business. And I do have family and friends who've also wanted to learn a lot about business based on obviously the story. They knew the history, but they wanted to know more on what the program is able to provide. And even looking at my dad, because we started together, with the business and all. He actually attended the Business Accelerator program, and he can't stop talking about it, sharing with people. This is what my daughter does. And also, you need to apply for the Business Accelerator program, which again is making that kind of ripple effect. I've been invited to a lot of platforms. I mentioned this earlier, where I've gotten to speak to a lot of women. And I've realized the power of storytelling, because whenever I share my story and some of the challenges that we've had in business, a lot of people can relate, especially people who are in business or those who are, who've tried to start a business. And that again is helping them.
I love the fact that you, after the first Business Accelerate program, when you ran it a second time, your dad was a participant. I love that, like, coming full circle. I also love there's a really specific story that you shared with me that I actually put in the book because I was touched by it so much. I thought it was beautiful, and it does involve your dad. I wonder if you could share it about the dad. Your dad goes to the gym, and the preacher at the gym who came and heard about you through your dad and asked you to speak. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, Gabrielle. It was actually in 2018 in December, and I just come back from Berlin. And my dad was so proud. He was sharing my story with a number of people. And while he was at the gym, he met his friend, who's also a preacher in his church. And when he shared the story, he said, "I'm so inspired. Can Faith actually come and talk to recent graduates?" They did have some youths that had actually graduated, but their families could not afford to throw them a graduation party. So the church was actually throwing the party for them. And he actually thought it was going to be great, as they're thinking about the future, their careers, to actually bring me in to talk to them. That was my first external speaker event. I'd only spoken to people at EY, so I had not had that opportunity to speak to anybody else, and I'd just come back. And I remember, being there with them, so full of questions, hope for the future, and me there helped to inspire them to think about, thinking big about their careers, not just having a narrow focus, and also thinking about that business can actually be a career. So that was really amazing, because I've had calls even after that discussion of them, sharing back, "Thank you so much. I remember your talk. Every single time I'm thinking about a career, I always think of Faith, what happened to you and where you actually are now." So it's really amazing, Gabrielle, I must say, when you have an impact. And these people never read about me, but that opportunity to have them in the room was nothing short.
I'm actually going to read a little couple of lines in my own book. That sounds very egotistical, but it's not about me. It's about you. It's about you. And it's about the end of that story. And I said, the preacher asked you to come and speak to young people at his congregation, which she did. It was her first ever public speaking experience outside of EY that you just said. She told me the feedback from those young people was so inspiring, saying, and this is a quote from you, "Nothing inspires me more than inspiring the youth." Yeah. And so tell me about that. Tell me about your passion of doing everything to inspire the youth. Just share with us about that.
So when I was actually growing up, around me, I had very few role models and people to share about, either career or business or otherwise. And it is when actually years later that I realized that there's something that I need to do to be able to share with the youth, to inspire them, to encourage them, to empower them in order to be the best that they can be. And it is possible. in today's world that you can be whoever you want to be. And every single time I have a conversation, and I have a lot of mentees, by the way, through various organizations, either one-on-ones, where we actually talk about their careers and asking them certain questions that make them think, wow. And just even share with you, last week, I had a mentee. It was our first time meeting. And after the conversation, she said to me, wow, Faith, this was a light bulb moment. And I'll never forget this moment. And it really touched me a lot. I not only inspired her, but I've given her tools to be able to go on in life and do something amazing about it. So it inspires me to inspire them.
Yeah, excellent. And again, I hope you're having time to read the comments that are coming up. And I assume you might know some of these people. So if you do know some of these people, give them a call out. But I would say to the people who are watching this live that know Faith, give me a question I should ask her. Give me a question that you probably know her better than me. You probably know Faith better than me. So what am I missing? What's something I should be asking her so we can find out more about this amazing woman? So if you're watching this live and you know Faith, please put in a question that you would love me to answer, or get her to tell a story that I think would for us to get to know each other. So please, please, please do that. While we're waiting for those to come through, Faith, perhaps I could sort of say, what are you actually working on now? What's your passion at the moment?
First of all, in my career right now, Gabrielle, I have the opportunity to work with a lot of entrepreneurs across Africa through different initiatives. And impact training programs that EY is running, as well as other organizations as well. I do love to continue to speak to a lot of entrepreneurs. That's my passion. I really believe that if you make a change in just one individual, those people can go out and make a big impact to even hundreds and thousands of people. So I do take my time during my spare time to really talk to people, and mentorship is one thing that I actually enjoy. And yeah, that's really something that I'm doing. And also to just, as we're waiting for people to share questions, I do have a new passion, which is innovation. And every time I talk to entrepreneurs, I realize that either they are solving the problems that they think are real problems, but maybe they're missing something, and so I'm helping them. So I'm learning a lot around innovation in order to help them solve, their most complex problems or their challenges in a more interesting ways, using tools that probably they did not have access to. So it's also something that I'm doing lately.
It sounds like you got a pretty good job at EY. Is this sort of your full-time job at EY, and they've just sort of say do whatever you want to keep doing, or how does it work?
No, not really. It's just an opportunity that I'm grateful to be having, working with entrepreneurs and also focused on client experiences and helping to solve, problems for clients. So it's not obviously a pick and choose, but the good thing is they always encourage us to shape our career. It's our career to build. So I find myself in that kind of path, doing the things that I like. And I think one thing also to emphasize is that once you identify your career, you always find a way of either you start connecting with the right people, or you start doing jobs that are in line with that purpose. You use that purpose as your moral compass in every decision that you actually make. And ever since I discovered my passion around entrepreneurship and really helping a lot of these, upcoming entrepreneurs and people around in Zimbabwe, in Africa and beyond, I've had those opportunities to be able to work in those departments.
So we have got a question in. This is from Anita Matsika. Do you know Anita? Anyway, Anita has asked, what are some of the challenges you've experienced along your journey? So maybe just, either there could have been one big challenge that you've had, you could share us that, or maybe it's just like an ongoing challenge.
Thanks, Anita. Yes, I do know. And it's a colleague of mine. Some of the challenges, I think, let me go back to when you're trying to explain to people that you have an initiative that you're trying to run. Some people are not as receptive. So I remember when we were starting out with our program, a lot of people were not very receptive because they're thinking, really, what's the catch, But I think what then happened is that when they joined the program, they were able to see the benefits of it. So sometimes, you have to work on it and keep showing people that you're passionate about something and that you've got the whole team as well working with you and, explaining to a lot of people how this works and sharing some of the success stories that actually come from the program. And I think also as an individual, there's so much that one can do around mentorship. It's been a challenge in terms of sometimes time because, you have to think about family and you have to think about mentorship. So it's a challenge, but it's also finding ways of, can you put different people together so that you can mentor them together and they can learn from each other. Personally, that has been a challenge. And then another challenge also in my journey was being able to, think about my failures and how best to help. So you're at that point in time saying, this happened to me, but what's the best way really of helping people? And really trying to articulate, what you're thinking. A lot of people, when it's not yet refined, can really be a challenge sometimes. So it's lots of experience along the way that you get to understand more. You get to listen to people. You get to listen to, a lot of people that you're trying to help, what's going on, and then find ways of helping them.
Excellent. There's a comment there from Nolene that you can probably, as always, you are such an inspiration, Faith, and the definition of the power of living in your purpose. I fully agree with that, Nolene. So Faith,
Thanks,
is there times when you have self-doubt? Is there times when you sort of go, I can't do this, I don't know what to do, or are you just pretty much give it a go person?
No, I wish I could be that perfect. There's a lot of self-doubt at times. This thing called imposter syndrome sometimes can be hectic.
Imposter syndrome's a bitch.
Your words. Yeah, but I can relate. I believe that even right from the start, sometimes you look at yourself and say, maybe because of the level I'm at, can I really make a difference? And then you second guess yourself and ask yourself, should I do it? Should I not? Should I? There's a lot of back and forth. But what helps is when you then find like-minded people. They actually encourage you and they help you keep going. And for me, really, sometimes when I'm facing a lot of this self-doubt, be it in my career, be it in the initiatives, be it even in speaking events, and I'm asking myself, really, all these people, can I really make a difference? I know that I've got a husband, I've got a family also behind me, supporting me, cheering me on, telling me that I can do it. And all the time they do try and understand, so what have you been doing lately? You always tell us that you're impact driven. What have you been doing? And then I do go back and say, I don't know, I'm not sure about myself. And there they are with great advice and support. And I also have an amazing team, Gabrielle, I must tell you. I have such an amazing team that even as I'm saying, I'm at work and I'm just, again, imposter syndrome coming back and saying, you can't do it. Then they say, yes, you can. And even sometimes in calls that we're in, they're the first people to say, did Faith tell you about this? Did she tell you she did this? So that actually brings up my confidence. And I've got great leaders as well, who are always supporting me. If I tell them this is my plan, they're saying, are you sure? And I say, yes. They say, but remember, you've done 1, 2, 3 things, so you can do it. So I do have that support system that actually helps with self-doubt a lot.
Excellent. And I think it's critical. I think we all need a really strong support system around us that keeps cheering us on, because I think everyone suffers from self-doubt at some point, and it's really good to have a support system behind you. I want to talk about, I guess we've been talking about the ripple effect of story. So not only, first of all, you did something amazing that was warranted people sharing the story about you, but can you just share us a little bit about perhaps the impact being in my book has had? So again, this was another platform, because I saw your story on the EY website. I put your story in my book, and my true hope that it has had a ripple effect on you. So what has been what's been the response, I guess, from your family, your friends, your colleagues?
Excited, number one. Excited, because first of all, who really gets a call from someone and says, I want to write about you? I mean, it's not very common. And I think for a lot of people, like, what? How did she get hold of you? And I think as you know, I was able to share that in the conversation I had with you, Gabrielle, that you got my story from the EY website. And I remember telling you there are lots of them, and you said, really? I guess you're inspired by my story. And I think trying to articulate that well to my team members, to my family, to my husband, that I'm going to be featured in a book. Everyone was so happy and excited, jumped around. And what this did was, every time I shared my story, I would talk about the fact that I was featured in your book, and people want to know more. And you start getting people from not only on social media, or for example, LinkedIn, but you do have people who've heard about my story wanting to know more, and starting to see the impact that my story has had to, you know, more of like a global environment, right? Where you found me, but a lot of times it wouldn't really happen. And I'm really happy to say that even a couple of weeks ago, I was featured in another book, Gabrielle, but another book on 100 amazing, you know, young people in Zimbabwe that are doing great things. And, you know, I'm finding myself there. And another thing that really has happened, indirectly or otherwise, is that even people in the program, some have read my story online and have reached out to me to say, you're in a book, tell me more. So you keep sharing the story, and you're keeping people motivated and encouraged that they can do a lot of things. And it's not even about, you know, business, people doing business, but it's how, you know, this is driving positive change in my circle, and in my country as well. And hopefully it would definitely do across the world. I'm sure people reading the book would definitely want to know more, and they reach out to me. So yes, great that you really reached out to me. So I'm really thankful for that.
I think you better tell your husband to watch out, because you're becoming very famous.
Husband, if you're listening, I'm gonna be famous.
I think you already are. So we've only got a few more minutes left. So again, if people want to ask questions, please do so. And also please share, because what we know, the more people that share these live streams, the more people will hear Faith's amazing story, and we will get that ripple effect, even more rippling. So what's next, Faith, for you? What's on the horizon for the next year or two or three?
Wow. It sounds like an easy question, but it's very hard. It's especially for things that I want to do. I guess I must say I'm fortunate enough to be part, you know, of organizations that really want to work with me in terms of, you know, either being a speaker or being a mentor. So that definitely continues, and definitely looking forward to working with a lot of people as well in sharing not only my story, but as well as, sharing how storytelling can actually impact people, be it, in your family, in your workplace, and everywhere else. I really want to continue the drive towards innovation and entrepreneurship beyond just my country, but to other countries as well, so that we're able to empower them, we're able to inspire them, and we're definitely going to encourage them to, to really have amazing big businesses. Because the other thing that I've learned with business is that when you make an impact in one business and it grows, it means they're employing more people. It means more families have food on the table. So I want to continue on that drive on empowering entrepreneurs and inspiring them to be the best that they can be.
Excellent. There's a Kim from Australia. I know Kim has said Faith is famous. Let's call her Famous Faith. So that could be famous. And Angela, who must work for you, says, I love working with you, Faith. What's next? So she wants to know what's next. I think that, Faith, there's a TED Talk in you, and I also think you've got your own book. So, you can feature in my book and feature in other books, but I reckon it won't be long before you're writing and publishing your own book, because I'd imagine that would provide a huge amount of insights and knowledge and advice, to the people that you want to reach, and the impact you want to make, and the legacy that you are no doubt leaving. So there's more things saying you are really inspiring. So any final words, would you like to use this platform for any final words you'd like to share with us?
Let me start off before you say the final word. What did you just say? Book and a TED Talk? I think that is super amazing. Thank you for actually highlighting that. And I guess it's something that I actually need to write in my plan as well. But the final thing that I want to say is, let's continue making a difference. You never know, who you might touch and what that can actually do, creating a ripple effect out there. So let's continue to make a difference and drive that positive change in everything that we do.
Thank you, Faith. You are amazing. I've got a poster in my office that says, do something every day to remind this city why the hell you're here. And I'm going to think of you now every time I do it, because it sounds like you are doing something every day and you're taking every opportunity to make a difference. And imagine how much a better world we would be if everyone actually just took an opportunity every day to make a difference to someone. We'd all be in a better place, wouldn't we? So thank you, Faith. You are amazing. I can see from the comments you've inspired a lot of people that you work with, your colleagues around DY, your family and friends. I'm sure your dad is so, so, so proud of you. So thank you for being part of this and for making a difference. And thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will get in later and reply to all the comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. And thank you, everyone,